Hatred rarely appears suddenly. It often grows from repeated emotional injuries that remain unresolved long enough to become part of a person's identity. Betrayal, humiliation, rejection, abandonment, injustice, resentment, fear, and prolonged powerlessness can gradually transform pain into hostility. At first, the person may simply feel hurt or disappointed, but when the mind repeatedly revisits the experience without processing it, the emotional wound can become connected to a particular person, group, memory, or idea. Hatred then provides a powerful psychological structure for emotions that once felt chaotic. It gives pain a target. It converts vulnerability into anger and helplessness into a sense of power. The person no longer experiences themselves simply as someone who is hurt. They begin seeing themselves as someone who has an enemy. This identity can become emotionally compelling because hatred creates certainty. It divides the world into what belongs on one side and what must be rejected on the other. The mind becomes selective, noticing evidence that confirms its hostility while dismissing anything that challenges it. Memories connected to the target become increasingly negative, while positive or neutral experiences lose importance. Hatred can therefore survive long after the original cause has disappeared because it becomes self-reinforcing. The person continues remembering, comparing, interpreting, and emotionally rehearsing the injury. What began as a response to pain can eventually become a psychological habit. The hidden roots of hatred often lie beneath anger, in emotions that feel more vulnerable and difficult to tolerate. A person may hate because they once loved deeply and felt betrayed. They may hate because they felt powerless and needed to recover a sense of strength. They may hate because acknowledging grief feels more painful than remaining angry. They may hate because forgiveness seems to threaten their sense of justice or identity. Hatred can therefore function as emotional armor. It protects the person from vulnerability by keeping the heart permanently defended. But armor that protects against pain can also prevent intimacy, compassion, and psychological freedom. The person may become increasingly suspicious, reactive, and emotionally exhausted because maintaining hatred requires constant attention to what is wrong. Healing does not mean excusing harmful behavior or pretending that serious wrongdoing never happened. It means refusing to let hatred become the permanent architecture of the mind. A person can recognize injustice while choosing not to become consumed by it. They can maintain boundaries without carrying constant rage. They can remember betrayal without allowing it to define every future relationship. They can hold someone accountable without giving that person permanent control over their emotional life. The deepest transformation occurs when the person separates the wound from the identity. What happened may always remain part of the story, but it does not have to determine the character of everything that follows. Hatred begins to weaken when emotional energy moves away from punishment and toward rebuilding. The goal is not to force affection toward someone who caused harm. It is to reclaim the inner space that hatred occupied. When the mind no longer needs an enemy to explain its pain, something changes. Attention returns to life itself. Energy becomes available for growth, connection, meaning, and peace. The deepest freedom is not becoming incapable of anger. It is becoming capable of feeling anger without allowing it to become the foundation of who you are.